Tuesday, July the 27th. Tulsathit, I saw the story on the front page of The Nation, very interesting hearing of the House Subcommittee on Thailand, which is quite rare, isn't it?
I watched it yesterday.
Yes.
2 hours.
Was it fun?
Interesting. It's very different from what we have seen regarding Thaksin and the Thai crisis.
Yes.
Because the mood is really solemn at this hearing, and what is interesting is, although they have different opinions, and people who came to testify, and the chairman himself have different opinions on Thailand, they are very friendly, they're really solemn when discussing the Thai crisis.
I understand that most of the representatives, MPs, quite sympathetic with Thailand in general, meaning that whether they take the red shirt or yellow shirt side, they have this memories of long-term relations with Thailand.
Yes, everyone who came to testify, and the chairman himself, that's despite their somewhat different in opinions, they said about this the really same thing, the friendship between the U.S. and Thailand, and you can feel from this hearing that how much importance that they attach the United States with Thailand.
So what did they say about the violence in Thailand?
They are really concerned, of course, and this is a hearing that took place on June 10, about almost a month after the crackdown. And they also mentioned the crackdown on May 19 and the April 10 crash between the troops and the red shirt people. So this is somewhat contradict what Kun Nopadon said, that the resolution of the House of Representatives took place and got overwhelming support because they don't know about the crash on May 19.
Obviously, they mentioned
the chairman himself did mention the incident, the crackdown, and the city burning on May 19. So obviously, the U.S. MPs, they were aware of what happened before casting the vote on the resolution.
Well, during the hearing, did they pick sides? Did they say, I'm for Thaksin, I'm against Thaksin?
I think there are a good mix of people who came to testify. There are one representative from the State Department. He's the Deputy Secretary of State. And this person, he just told the line, the diplomatic line, saying that the U.S. government should not interfere with what happened in Thailand. Only the government of the United States can only give moral support to the Thai people. And then there were 3 people coming to testify, and there were mixed opinion regarding what happened, what caused the crisis, and what should be happening or what will be happening in the future.
But I think the main thrust of the testimonies was that no one should oversimplify the situation in Thailand.
Yes, it's the big theme of this hearing, actually. In fact, the chairman, whose name is very difficult to pronounce, his name is Fabio Malvega.
I understand he's from Samau.
Yes, of course. And he set the tone for this hearing by saying that it's not as simple as you might think. It's a really complex crisis. And everyone who came to testify seemed to be agreeing with this, at least. Although their opinions are varied concerning Thaksin, concerning the red shirt and the yellow shirt. And everyone seemed to agree that this is a very complex situation, and it's not only about the red shirt, the yellow shirt, or the red shirt against the military. It's something much more multi-layer, not just one layer problem.
Well, I think it's interesting that the subcommittee, House Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs, took the trouble to organize this hearing, because this is what a lot of people were hoping to hear, from the academics, from the politicians in Washington. And I think the gist or the thrust of the hearing concluded that Thailand is going through a difficult time and that it's a very complex situation, and that simply talking about red shirts and yellow shirts would be too simplistic to understand the whole thing.
Yes, and there's one academic who came to testify. He said that it wouldn't be contradicting any American principles to support the Abhisit government on the roadmap.
And it's interesting that towards the end of the discussion, the chairman sort of mentioned in passing, asking whether Thaksin could visit the United States or not.
Yes, and if that was intended as a really a question to the participants, that was the only one that no one answered him.
There was no clear answer.
No clear answer.
And I think a lot of Thais would like to know whether Thaksin can actually legally enter the United States. That's still a big question.